First of all, just to clear something very important, Hamas knew about the Nova Party way before it even happened. First of all, people who came from the strip, Gaza Strip, actually worked in the construction because the preparations for the Nova Party took weeks to build the stage, to build the canopy above, to bring in the refrigerators, to bring in all the facilities which were to pave the parking lot. It took weeks, and the people who worked there from Gaza is one thing. Second thing, the party started on Thursday night. You could hear it for kilometers, and only deaf people did not hear it. So they knew about this. Not only this, registration was by Facebook. So they didn't know about this. It was open. So to say that they didn't know about the Nova, could be that there were some people who did not know exactly where it is, because they came to loot and to rape, and they were the second wave, people who didn't know where they are. So they caught somebody to ask him, it is this way or this way, because this is a long way.
Okay, I know, it was so strange for me, that's why I wanted to ask you. A friend, he's half Jewish, half Italian, he told me, no, they didn't want the rave party, the Nova Festival, they didn't know it was there, so it was very strange.
They know,
but in any case...
not only they know, they timed the assault at 6:30 in the morning, because in this time, all these people in the Nova were either drunk or doped, drugs, or tired from dancing all the night. And 6:30 in the morning is the sunrise. They have sun in their eyes. If they want to run to the east, the sun bothers them.
Okay.
So they time the whole thing to that minute. And also, it is already daylight. They cannot hide. So they know exactly. And don't forget that the Nova actually doubled the number of people near Gaza. Because of the, Be'eri and all these things, and the Nova. There were thousands of people. So this is why they timed it, because this is a time to catch, to capture, to, kill, to rape. Good opportunity. Why not? Of course.
But
they're not stupid.
The project of October the 7th was even bigger than this. So at some point, can we say that Hamas failed in some point?
In many points. I'll show you.
Yeah, please drink.
I have a good friend, originally from Iraq, a Christian Iraqi, who ran away from Iraq many years ago, more or less when Saddam was ousted in 2003, like many, or most of the Christians in Iraq. And he is today in Western Europe. But he is in connection with Iraq. And once in a while, he sends me all kinds of information, mainly about the pro-Iranian militias in Iraq. And I see on WhatsApp that it was transferred from, it's not originally written by him, but you can see it. I don't know if I would say it in Italian, it's something which you copy from place to place. And usually I used to send it to the intelligence here and forget about this, let them deal with this. Because usually it was military information about the militias. In the beginning of April 2023, half a year before the war, he sends me a very long information that Iran sent a message to all the 50 militias which they have in Iran to start to get prepared to a war against Israel, which will be with missiles, with drones, and incursion on the ground. And they should say what they need: vehicles, missiles, drones, and Iran will supply them with all these things in order to be prepared for the big day of a war in Iraq. The same message was sent to Syria, to 17 militias in Syria, to Hezbollah in Lebanon, to the Houthis in Yemen, to Hamas and the Islamic Jihad in Gaza, to start to get prepared to a big war against Israel, which will start in 1 minute from all of them together. And according to their calculation, Israel will collapse within a week, because it will start with big incursion, as what is Gaza, in the north as well, to catch or to capture all the towns in the north: Nahariya, Shlomi, Kiryat Shmona, Rosh Pina, Tzfat, and all the kibbutzim and moshavim in between, all the rural areas. Those from Syria will invade the Golan. Those from Iraq will come through Jordan and the Jordan Valley into Jerusalem and its surroundings. And it will be accompanied with a barrage of missiles and drones, thousands every day, which will destroy the infrastructure: electricity, water, gas, roads, bridges, army bases, air force, runways, harbors, gas industry in the sea, cities, everything will be destroyed. Europe is asleep, America is in America. Within a week, Israel will be wiped off the map. This was the satanic, diabolic plan of the Iranians.
Yeah.
When will it be? According to the Iranians, if Israel attacks either the oil facilities of Iran or the nuclear program of Iran, and or if Israel dares to touch the oil industry and the gas industry or the nuclear facilities, this will be the D-date for this plan, and everybody should be prepared for the day. Iran supplied them with money, weapons, ammunition, training. Iran actually took them to Iran to be trained and returned them to Gaza and to other places. And this was the major plan of Qasem Soleimani. And all what they built in the Middle East was aimed at this point, to destroy Israel, because afterwards Saudi Arabia, Jordan, and the Emirates will be alone.
It is.
This was the Iranian plan.
Scary.
Hamas were not supposed to start a war by themselves.
That was their failure, their mistake, let's say.
What happened with Hamas is Hamas had a different time clock. Hamas were very worried from Biden, because I'm talking about 2023. The elections, the presidential elections, were in November 2024. Biden prepared, and this was published, Biden prepared for June 24, means like half a year before the elections, signing on the loan of the White House of broadening the Abraham Accords with Saudi Arabia, with maybe Kuwait, Indonesia, Malaysia, many Islamic countries, because Saudi Arabia is a leading country. So Trump brought only the Emirates and Bahrain and Morocco. Biden will come with Saudi Arabia, the big thing, into this, in order to win the elections, at least win the sympathy of the Jews in America and the Jewish money and so forth. And This was the plan, and it was open, it was declared. For Hamas, it would be a death kiss to the Palestinian cause. Because if Saudi Arabia normalizes relations with Israel, and behind Saudi Arabia, the whole list of Islamic countries, okay, Iran will not be there, but many others, Indonesia, Malaysia, Pakistan, Mali, Niger, African countries, in Central Asian countries, Islamic countries. This will be the end of the Palestinian problem. Who will care about the Palestinians if all the Islamic world, or almost all the Islamic world, is in normalization with Israel? So for them, they felt that they must pull the rug from under the feet of the Saudis and the Israelis together, by starting a war. Because when there is a war, Saudis cannot sit with the Israelis. It is too much. They thought that if they invade Israel and catch 250 more or less hostages, Israel will be paralyzed. Israel will not be able to act. Israel will be handcuffed. And they will remain with all the weapons ready to the big war. And in order to release the 250 hostages, Israel will have to release all the prisoners. And they will stay with the weapon ready for the big war which Iran planned. This is now the plan which the Iranian plan is what the man, the Iraqi guy, sent me. And I was sitting with this, and I was writing the day a weekly article in the Israeli press. And I said to myself, should I publish it or not? First of all, it's information but it doesn't only relate to the army. It's also to the municipalities, to the train system, road system, infrastructure, gas, electricity. Everybody in Israel. If there is such a war against Israel, everybody should know about this. Not only this, people in Iraq are talking about this, people in Syria, Lebanon, Yemen, Gaza, everybody is dealing with this. So shouldn't we, as public, know about this? So I decided to publish it. At the beginning it was a shock for many Israelis. Many accused me for trying to make a panic. Others said, wow, if this information is true, we should know. And we should be prepared. And this was the article which Sinwar actually recommended the people to read.
Oh my God.
And I have it recorded. I have it recorded. So, and it appeared on April 9, 2023. It took me like a week until I did the whole thing. And the 9th of April, it appeared. Half a year before the war. Unfortunately, people in Israel didn't take it seriously because they didn't see the preparations, neither in Lebanon, Syria, Iraq. So they didn't take the preparations in Gaza too seriously. What Hamas did is actually they torpedoed the plan, the Iranian plan. Because right after it started, half of the army went to the north in order to block the border. Israel took all the citizens from the north to other places, evacuated everybody. So Hezbollah will not follow Hamas. And the whole thing was actually revealed. Now everybody knows, because many talked then about my article and others who wrote about this multi-front scenario. The Iranians were surprised. Hezbollah was surprised because it was not the plan. The plan was to to stay still until the whole war will start. By yourself? Now, how do I know about this? He didn't tell me. A few days after the war started, there was an interview of a guy named Musa Abu Marzouk. He is more or less the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Hamas in one of the Arab TV channels. The interviewer asks him, what do the Iranians say? Because those days, already, before the ground operation, it was when the Air Force and artillery are targeting Hamas targets in Gaza. Well, this was already the beginning, without infantry yet. So the lady asks him, Musa Abu Marzouk, what do the Iranians say about what happens in Gaza? So he doesn't answer. He goes around the question. So the interviewer insists and asks him again the same question. What are the Iranians say about what happens? So he says, I'm calling them and they don't answer me. Because they don't pick the phone.
Okay.
Who doesn't pick the phone? Somebody who is angry at you.
Yeah.
Okay? So that already it was like the fourth day of the war. More or less. Means if they don't pick the phone, means that they are angry. Means that Hamas did something which the Iranians don't like. Maybe the whole thing they don't like. Because it's against the big plan. Because the big plan is based on cooperation. At the same time. This was one indicator that Iran was not for it. Second thing was about Hezbollah. And for this you have to understand Nasrallah. He, like every week, had a speech. He was a very good speaker, very prolific. He was speaking fluently, and he liked to speak, and he liked the scenery of the public speaking. Every week. So Friday, like 6 days after the war started, I waited to hear him. He didn't speak for the whole week.
For the first time.
So I said, maybe wait another week. Nothing.
Nothing.
3 weeks. Nothing. The man didn't say anything. Anything. You didn't see him, you didn't work. Nothing. This is strange because the man is a very prolific speaker. In the fourth week, I started to see rumors in the Arab media, the Arab social media, that the man is dead. He got a stroke, he got a heart attack, the man is dysfunctional. So, in order to show that he is, already Thursday, in the fourth week, like the 27th day of the war, the Al-Manar TV station of Hezbollah said that tomorrow, Friday, Nasrallah will speak. First time after the war started, almost a whole month. And he said in his speech, we are surprised. And good so. Why? Because if Hamas had informed us, it might have been leaked, because the communications to the Israelis. And the fact that they didn't tell us enabled Hamas to do this with the full surprise. Couldn't Hamas send somebody to tell him in his ear without the Israelis intercepting? Nonsense. So why they didn't speak for almost a month? The thing is very simple. He could not say anything bad about Hamas because the first day was a big, good jihad, successful jihad. More than 1,000 Israelis, kids are burnt, girls are raped. This is a good jihad. He couldn't say anything against it. But he understood that Hamas actually torpedoed the big plan.
Yeah.
and destroyed it.
Yeah.
Because now, that day, already the Truman aircraft carrier with the 12 ships around it, with all the ammunition, already in front of Lebanon. This was not according to their plan, that the Americans will send this force which can destroy Lebanon in 2 minutes altogether. This was the whole war actually destroyed the Iranian plan.
Yeah.
So he couldn't say anything in favor of what Hamas did. So this is why he held his peace for a whole month. Because he couldn't say anything pro, anything against.
Yeah, yeah.
So he shut up, he didn't say anything. What he did, but he cannot see Israel grinding Gaza without reaction. So he started border clashes. Although he had some 150,000 missiles which could destroy Israel. He didn't send anything to Tel Aviv, almost nothing to Haifa, nothing. All was on the border. Why? On the border you can say, I support Hamas, and this actually was the name of the Hezbollah operation on the border for more than a year, supporting Gaza. But he didn't go beyond it in order not to bring a big war, which he is not willing. And again, the Iranians were against it. They were also against the participation of Hezbollah, because Hamas started the war without the consent of the Iranians.
Yeah.
Not only this, a bit later, Ismail Haniyeh goes to Iran in order to meet some officials to send the weapons to Gaza through the tunnels. He wasn't supposed to meet high-ranking officials, only first in the Ministry of War or Defense. Khamenei, the leader, heard that Haniyeh is in the city, and he demanded to bring him to him. He couldn't refuse. He went to Khamenei. Khamenei kicked everybody from the room, stayed with Haniyeh only, shut the door, and according to Reuters, the walls actually shook from the shouts of Khamenei. Well, I was not the mosquito on the wall, but I could imagine why.
Yeah.
He actually shouted at him, "What did you think? That you will liberate Palestine by yourself? Why did you destroy the whole plan? We gave you weapons not to open a private war. The training, the ammunition, the money which you got from us, everything was not supposed for you to start a war by yourself, even without telling us. Using what we gave you without permission." This is why, until this very day, and we are talking more than 2 years after the war started, Iran did nothing to save Gaza. Whenever they shot missiles at us, it's only because we attacked Iranians. Once it was in Damascus, 10th time was in Beirut, only then they launched missiles against us. It's before the 12 days in June.
Okay.
Twice the Iranians sent missiles against us. Once because we killed some Iranian in Damascus, and the second time was with Nasrallah. They didn't send even nothing, a drone, because what we do in Gaza. Why? Because the whole war was against their will.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything to save Nasrallah, because he disobeyed them by starting a war with Israel, and Israel used it, with beepers and everything which followed, and they didn't do anything. What did the Iranians do in order to save Nasrallah? This is why in Gaza and in Lebanon, many people think that the Iranians betrayed them, stabbed them in the back, because Iran did not support them. It don't happen. Now in Iran, if you disobey the Iranians, you can go to hell, even if you are Nasrallah. So this is the tension, and this actually proves the whole theory about the big war which was supposed to be, and the fact that Hamas started the war without the permission of the Iranians.
Yeah. And I also know that you know Islam very well. Can we talk about a split between the Shia and the Sunnis? I'm asking you this because usually the Sunni, as you know, they don't consider the Shias real Muslims. So at some point, can we imagine that they took everything, supply, weapons, people, training, money, Captagon, anything, but then at the end they wanted to betray the Shia. So can we see something like that, or it's just political?
No, what happened with Iran and Hamas, yes, it is some kind of a question. How come Iran, the Shi'i country, supports Hamas, which are Sunnah? I could understand that they support the Shi'i in Lebanon, means Nasrallah, yes, but how come they support Sunni? The thing is this, Hamas used to get for many years money from people in the Gulf, in Qatar, in Bahrain, in the Emirates, private people who donated money through wire, through the banks. But after 2001, the United States declared that Hamas is a terror organization, and no bank is allowed to send money to Hamas. So all those donations they got from the Gulf stopped. So what did they do? They went to Saddam Hussein, who was still in Iraq, and they said, hey, all those sheikhs don't send any more money. So he said, now since Saddam did not like the Americans, he said, okay, I'll give you the money in cash. And every month he would send some suitcases full of cash money to Hamas. However, in 2003, the war on Iraq, he had to run away and to hide in a cave. So they stopped also. So the Gulf cannot because of the banks. Saddam is not there anymore. So Hamas were actually almost bankrupt. So the Iranians who knew about this said to the Hamas, we will help you. Why? The struggle between the Sunnah and the Shia from 14 centuries already, since Muhammad died, is about the legitimacy. Which side is the legitimate side of Islam? This is actually the struggle between these two factions. Everyone thinks that I'm the legitimate side while you are not. Iran, when they saw that the Sunnis in the Gulf and in Iraq betrayed Hamas, said to Hamas, we the Shia, we will help you after your brothers, the Sunnah, betrayed you.
Okay. Oh my, yeah.
Means now we are better because we support the jihad against Israel.
Okay.
So in order to show that they are better than Saudi Arabia, they're better than Emirates, better than Bahrain, better than everybody else who stopped supporting Hamas because of the Americans. We are not afraid of the Americans. We'll give you. And now they become more legitimate. Everybody betrayed them. They don't. They are loyal. So this is Iran supported Hamas in order to gain legitimacy on the expense of the Gulf, Saudi Arabia and the Gulf states, who betrayed Hamas by not giving them the money because of the Americans.
Got it.
This is the reason why Iran supported Hamas.
Okay, got it. Yeah. Oh my. And then, can I ask you a little projection about the future of the Gaza Strip, about the truce? We know that nobody, of course, can trust Hamas, but we are very happy that the hostages could come back. And also about the future, I am very worried about the so-called West Bank, Judea, Samaria. And I would like to ask you, should we worry about East Jerusalem on that area? Or maybe it's just, we can...
Well, these are two different questions because the situation in Gaza is totally different compared to the situation in Judea and Samaria, the so-called West Bank. Gaza is actually a combination of a totally failing area because of the war, because of the terrorism which took over.
Yeah.
And nobody with the right mind would go to be there because they are Hamas fighters can kill him.
Yeah.
Because if they don't like you, they kill you. This is how it works there. On one side. But on the other side, the whole world, pushed by Trump, comes to Gaza. It's Egypt, it's the Emirates, it's Qatar, Turkey, and many more countries who are joining Trump because of his pressure. He wants to see something good come out of Gaza. I don't know if he knows exactly what's going to be there, or he has a good idea about this, but I don't see anything goes in the right direction as long as Hamas are there with the weapons.
Yeah.
Would you go to be an engineer in Gaza, if you are an engineer, to start planning the place, if you know that somebody can come and shoot you in the head? So this is why I think that there's some kind of a distance between what Trump wants to see and what really can be achieved on the ground. This is one thing. Second thing, the countries which he brought to Gaza, or to this Gazan solution, are not seeing things in the same fashion. For example, Turkey and Qatar are totally in favor of Hamas, to leave Hamas the masters of the place. The Hamas should remain as the ruling group of Gaza forever. With weapons, without, but Hamas should be. Saudi Arabia, Emirates, Bahrain, maybe Egypt as well, do not want to see Hamas. Because they are afraid that Hamas will repeat what they did. You know, once a dog bites you, you don't trust him anymore. Okay? This is a rule, very basic rule. You cannot trust him anymore. Same thing with terror organizations. Once it came out to kill, it's in their genes. So, since they know what terrorism is, they don't want Hamas to remain there. They wouldn't maybe say it, but they definitely do not want Hamas to continue to be there. So between Turkey and Qatar, which want Hamas to remain, and the others who do not, could be very, very possibly clashes between the Turks and the Egyptians or the Emirates because of this difference about Hamas, what to do with Hamas. So again, although many countries are coming to the scene because of Trump's pressure, yet I don't see it work together in one agenda in order to promote things in Gaza. This is why I'm rather pessimistic about what happens with Gaza, and I really don't know what will be there in the future, because I'm not sure that ever was such a thing in the whole world. Even Germany, after it was destroyed in the Second World War, America took it over, you know, the Marshall Plan, and one state, of course, they divided Germany between the Russians, with the Soviet Union, and the West, but the part which was under the Western control, they worked together to rebuild Germany on a different basis. So this is why it worked. And so the other side, the Communist Party, the communist side of East Germany, was under one agenda of the Soviet Union. So when something is being run by one agenda, you can focus some kind of a future according to the agenda. But if you have conflicting agendas in one place, how can it work? Just like a car which has a steering wheel, one wheel goes to this way, one wheel goes to that way. How can you steer this car?
And also at the end of the Second World War, it was very clear who lost and who won. Instead, in the psychology of the Arabs, this is not possible, because they do not conceive victory as us Europeans, or you Jewish, or you Israelis. And please answer.
No, I don't think it.
Okay. I'm not sure that Hamas right now thinks that they lost. Maybe they think they won.
Definitions of defeat and victory are different.
Yeah.
I already said at the beginning of the war, if one Hamasnik remains, one leg missing, one head missing, and the other hand he has only 2 fingers, and he has a bandage on his head, he will stand on a roof of destroyed mosque, will do V with his 2 fingers, and he won. Why? He will make children, and in 20 years they will continue the fight. So he was not defeated. He took a vacation. He took a break.
Yeah,
in the
you're
war.
right.
The war, in their view, is eternal.
Yeah.
Eternal. And it's a war for Allah, it's a jihad. It's not for human objectives. This is for Allah. How can you give it up? How can you stop it? You're not allowed to stop it. So this is how they see everything from the religious point of view, especially Hamas. You know, Hamas' name is Harakat al-Muqawama al-Islamiyya, means the Islamic resistance movement. Islamic means everything is according to the Islamic ideas. So here you are. Jihad is forever until all the infidels finish.
And the jihad can be also, let's say, non-violent in a sort of kind of way. If you think, for example, that right now the mayor of New York is a Muslim.
Jihad has many facets, many appearances. Even migration is a jihad, some kind of jihad. Jihad means effort, literally. Means the effort which the Muslim community spends in order to spread Islam all over the world, so the word of Allah will be the superior and the word of the infidels will be the inferior. This is the idea, translated from Arabic, about what jihad is. Now jihad could be with the sword, with the military jihad, but there are many ways. If you open a school which will educate the kids to be more adherent to Islam, this is a kind of educational jihad. In some cases it's called da'wah, but it's part of jihad. If you migrate to other countries like Italy and you turn the society into Islamic society, this is a migration jihad. If you settle in other countries and you become part of the fabric, this is a settlement jihad. Mm-hmm. If you open a channel like Al Jazeera, there's a media jihad, because this is what they do. If you set fire in a church, this is the arson jihad, and they burn churches. I don't know what the situation in Italy, but definitely it is in France.
Mm-hmm. How do you explain that the West does not understand the dangers coming from this ideology? I mean, we have immigrants every day coming without papers, without documents. There is this, right now, the mayor of New York, who is a Muslim, and we already saw the mayor of London, for example. He has been covered, I think, 9,000 cases of little children raped in the grooming gangs.
Yeah.
And how do you explain this? Are we dumb? Are we fascinated? Is it just the left? What is it?
Well, this is a combination of reasons which started already dozens of years ago. Mm-hmm. The post-colonial discourse that we, the colonizers, we colonized America, we colonized Africa, East Asia, India, means the Europeans. And now we have to repent and to pay back to those unfortunate peoples or nations which we occupied and colonized. Now we have to give them the permission to come to us. So all those from North Africa, from Morocco, Algeria, Tunisia, Mali, Chad, Ivory Coast, all these African places which were colonized by France, that they come to France. Everybody which was colonized by Spain should come. We have to compensate them. Belgium, what the Belgians did in Congo. And British, of course, they allowed the Yemenites to migrate because they occupied Yemen. So this was the post-colonial discourse which allowed that we Europeans, we are sinners, what we did is very bad, and now we have to pay to these people by letting them migrate to our countries in order to have good life, better life, because of what we did to them in their homelands. This is one thing. Second thing is the need of Europe to foreign workers. Europe, as a population, the European population, cannot run the countries. Why? First of all, 2 world wars cost the lives of some 75 million people. Not only 6 million Jews. Germans, French, British, Poland, Russians, Italians. How many? Millions of Europeans got killed. And this is a deficit in population. Imagine if without the 2 wars, the population, the European population of Europe today was maybe 200 million people more. The Europeans did not need migration to run the economy, to be taxi drivers, to be bus drivers, to be workers in the mines and in the blue-collar factories and in the sellers in the shops. They wouldn't need, because there were enough Europeans. But the Homo eropos kills himself for 100 years already. This is one thing. Second thing is the rate of birth, which is in decline.
Demography.
Demography. How many children are in average, per woman in Italy? 1.4. Greece, more or less. If you go to the north, it declines. Germany, 1.2, 1.3. Scandinavia, 1.1. Russia, 1. Means in 30 years, the next generation will be half. Because, men do not give birth. So if every woman has one more or less child, so the next generation will be half in size. And the next generation will be quarter. And it will be what, in 50 years? So you need people to come to run the economy. Otherwise, you have to shut factories and everything, and the economy will shrink. So you actually, means Europeans must bring in migrants. Now, if they brought in maybe Chinese, these Chinese come to work. Many Muslims, although they come to work, they come also to establish Islamic neighborhoods, Islamic towns, Islamic environment, because they are used to it in the homelands. So they don't bring themselves from Algeria to France. They bring Algeria to France, or to Italy, or Libya to Italy. They don't bring themselves from Libya to Italy. They bring Libya to Italy. And this is what happens.
Yeah.
Look at Lyon, Marseille, the towns in the south.
Hell, totally.
Rotterdam.
Yeah. Birmingham, yeah.
The Rotterdam mayor is a Muslim already, I think, for 20 years. Because migration. Look, there is a very important book, Eurabia, written by Bat Ye'or. She saw it already dozens of years ago.
Yeah.
Douglas Murray wrote about the strange death of Europe.
So do you think that Europe will be Islamized soon? Or maybe we can...
Look, it's not statistics, it's mathematics.
Okay.
When you see the number of Europeans in decline and the number of Muslims is in increase, at some point the lines will cross each other. 20 years, 30 years, 40 years, it's nothing. In the Quran, there is a verse which says, Inna Allah ma sabirin, in Arabic. Means Allah is with those who have patience.
Yeah.
And they do have patience. Gaddafi once said that we don't have to shoot even one shot. We'll take Europe by the womb.
Yeah, Gaddafi, yeah.
We don't have to shoot. Just don't. The Europeans anyway need us. So, Europe is ours.
You are perfectly right. I will ask you the last question and then let you go. Do you think that anti-Semitism is like a mental issue?
Look, I think that anti-Jewish sentiment, I don't call it anti-Semitism because Arabs are also Semites. And they keep saying, how can we be anti-Semites? Because we are Semites ourselves. So I say anti-Jewish sentiment.
Okay, anti-Jewish.
Anti-Jewish, the roots of anti-Jewish sentiment is coming from the heritage. How do I know? You know what a control group is? In sociology, if you want to check something, you take another group of people and you may see the differences. Here also, you see anti-Jewish sentiment in two cultures. One in the European Western Christian culture, and one in the Arab Islamic Eastern culture. In both you see Jew hatred. You don't see Jew hatred in India, China, Japan,
You're
and
right.
Korea.
Yeah.
There's no Jew hatred. And this is the control group. Why is there a Jew hatred in the Arab Islamic Eastern world and in the European Western Christian background world? Because of two issues. One issue is the religion. Islam and Christianity are connected to Judaism in a way or another. Derivatives, the Old Testament, New Testament. In order to justify the mere existence of Christianity in Europe and Islam in the Islamic world, you have to undermine the source, the Jewish religion. This is why both religions saw themselves as replacement of Judaism. Are both in both. That Judaism, Jews went astray, they didn't believe in the right prophet, whether it's Jesus or Muhammad, and Jews didn't behave in a nice way, so Allah threw them, and now we, means either Christians, Muslims, now we replace Judaism, and now we have to destroy Judaism, and those Jews who are still sticking to Judaism have to be tortured, or to be humiliated. Okay, so here's the source. Right. In order to justify the existence, the substitute means the Christianity in Europe and Islam in the Arab world. Okay, so how do I know that this is the reason? India, China, Korea, Japan, their religions have nothing to do with Judaism. So they don't feel that they have to do something against the Jewish tradition or Jewish religion in order to justify their religions. Hinduism, Shintoism, Confucianism, nothing is connected to Judaism. So they have nothing against Judaism. This is one reason. Second reason is the mere existence of Jews in those countries. Jews lived for millennia in Europe, in the European Christian world, in the Western world, and Jews also lived in the same streets, in the same towns, in the East, in the Arab world, Islamic world. Jews in Morocco, all the way to Iran, or to Pakistan, and Afghanistan. So there is somebody to hate, the other, to hate and to blame him for all the shortcomings of. Jews did not live in India, Japan, China, and Korea, traditionally. There were no Jewish communities in these countries. China, even Shanghai, you could see, there was one town in India, with little group, but in general, there were no, the Indians never saw a Jew, so the Chinese, or Japanese, or the Koreans. So you don't hate somebody which you don't see. So these are the two core reasons for Jew hatred. The religion in Islam and Christianity, and the mere fact that Jews actually are living, and the Jews are the different, is the other. We go. So these are the modern times brought more reasons. In communist countries, the Jews are the capitalists.
Okay.
In the capitalist countries, the Jews are the communists, like Trotsky and Lenin, who were Jewish roots. So when the democratic Soviet rift started, Jews are in both places. So both places blame the Jews. Okay, so then nationality came, nationalism. After the spring of nations in the mid-19th century, all the way to Nazism. Jews is the different, he's Semite. He looks different, he word different, the religion is different. So if the more nationalism became, like in Italy also, became the name of the game, the other has to be hated. So the nationalism which emerged in the beginning of the 20th century all the way to the Second World War actually increased also the hatred to the Jew as a permanent other who lives within us. Yeah. Another thing. Then, look, Jews also in both places, the Europe and the Islamic world, Jews were always reading because of the Jewish tradition of the Talmud, of the Bible, and there is no such a thing an illiterate Jew. There's no such a thing. Wherever Jews lived, they know how to read at least Hebrew, or at least the Hebrew scripture. But it enabled them also to be others. In many societies, especially Eastern Europe and in the Arab world, people were illiterate in big percentage for millennia. The Jew was much more learned, and this is another reason why to hate him, because he's successful. He's the best lawyer in town, he's the best doctor in town, he's the best violin player. Now, and this is a very good thing, a very, very important thing. Jews always, when they're the musicians, they never play double bass or contrabass or a cello. They always played the violin, the small, or flute. Why? Because they could run away very easily.
Easier, yeah. You cannot escape with
run away. You can't
with
escape
a piano.
with a piano or with a double bass, contrabass. This is why Jews always had. Now, also, since in many places Jews were not allowed to have land, they couldn't be working agriculture. Mm-hmm. So they were sitting in the city. What could they do? Moneylenders, so bankers. So everybody hated the banker because he wants his money back. So these reasons came with the time, based on the ancient hatred because of the religion and the mere fact. Yeah. So you can the Jew recently is associated with the system because the Jew is hiding behind the system. The system protect the minorities, means the government. Recently we have many anti-establishment organizations. The Greens on one side, fuck the system. Many people, in many organizations, many ideas. Who is the system? The Jew. Because he's hiding behind the system to protect him from all kinds of trends. So he is the system. Let's get on him as well. So here you are.
Yeah, combination.
It is easy.
Elements.
Now it is easy to hate him because he's not violent. Now if you say something against Muslims, what will happen to you?
I'll be killed, for sure, or stabbed.
So people are shutting their mouths.
Yeah.
Either they will be depicted as Islamophobes and bigots and racists, or they will be targeted. Look at Pim Fortuyn in in Netherlands. He
Yeah.
was killed
Yeah.
because of a movie which he came out with.
Submission.
They are not allowing any. Look at Salman Rushdie. He wrote a book about the satanic verses. He is a threat. The British government has to spend million pounds every year to guard him, because the Iranians when the Iranians have a fatwa to kill him, they are violent, and everybody is afraid of them. Not only this, and what happens today in Europe is really a crime, because many politicians, in order to be elected, are actually selling the country to the Muslims.
Yeah.
Because, let's say, in every place, let's say you have a Muslim neighborhood in a city, the candidates to the parliament are competing with each other who will give the migrants more in order to gain their vote and to go to the parliament.
Yeah.
Means they are catering for the migrants to give them more money and more benefits and more everything. They compete. Who will give them more in order to be elected? So in order to become today a member of the parliament, you have to sell your country to the migrants. And this is, I think, the betrayal of the politicians. Look, I'll tell you something from my own experience. In 2007, I was invited to a meeting in Florence, Firenze, of intelligence members of the European countries who deal with Islam. They meet it was a closed meeting, and they invited me for two purposes. First is to give a paper about the Muslim Brotherhood in Israel and how the state, the democratic state, deals with the Muslim Brotherhood, because on that year, the meeting of 2007 dealt with the Muslim Brotherhood, specifically in Europe. And they wanted to hear about the experience of Israel, how to deal with the Muslim Brotherhood, because we have them as well here. And the second reason is to listen to the discussions, and if I have what to add to the discussions about what I can, be part of the discussion. It was a 3-day conference in a big villa near Firenze. At some point, they showed a graph about the FOI. FOI is Fédération Organisation Islamique in France. And they show like the web of NGOs, companies,
Everywhere,
banking companies, all connected, interconnected, already 18 years ago, 2007. The whole scheme of organizations which all over Europe, it's the same people, and they are infiltrating in real estate, malls, housing for rent, in every area of economic activity. They are there. And of course NGOs which send money to all kinds of organizations in the Middle East by cash or not by cash, all kinds of things. So at some point I asked the people, the intelligence people, how do you allow such a thing to happen in Europe? So like 4 of them answered by doing like this. Means our hands are tied. By whom? By the politicians. We know the danger. We understand the danger. But the politicians tie our hands. Because they are depending on the Islamic votes. So they allow all these things to happen.
Yeah.
And this is, in my view, the biggest sin of the
It's a
European,
betrayal.
the betrayal of the European politicians.
Yeah.
How they sold the countries, sold their peoples, sold the nations to the migrants in order to be re-elected. Because those politicians do not know how to do anything else. What do they know to do?
They will be wiped out. You know, when the Iranians, when the Ayatollah took the power in Iran, they did an alliance with the left. And the day after the victory, the left was in jail, hanged in squares. So
Now, the Muslims discovered the biggest fig leaf to cover what they want to do by going with the Palestinian flags against Israel. And this is a camouflage to hide the reality. The problem is not Israel in the aim is Italy or France or Germany, wherever they are. They are using the Palestinian flag and the Palestinian issue to ride on and to become legitimate, because this is legitimate to demonstrate against Israel. The British understood it, because they came out with the biggest demonstration in Britain, which like 2 months ago.
I saw it in September. It
and
was
they were
huge.
walking with Israel's flags.
Yeah, yeah,
Why? Because they understood the manipulation of the Palestinian cause, which is actually in order to be against the local countries, because they want to take them over.
yeah.
It's only a fig leaf to cover the real intention.
And this is exactly what happened in all Europe, in Italy, in France, Spain. The Palestinian cause was a code to impose Sharia, basically, and to ride the democratic institutions to be present and say, oh, look, we are so good, vote for us, and so on and so forth. So, thank you so much.
And they take advantage of today, the meeting in Europe, of the Jew hatred which migrates from the Islamic Arab countries, meets with the local Jew hatred, which is there for centuries already.
Yeah.
So this is today the acceleration of anti-Jewish sentiment, and this actually what causes the Jews to run away from France in big numbers, Sweden. So at least the Jews today, they have where to run to Israel. At least now they have a refuge.
Okay.
But we have to understand, Muslims, when they see a force in front of them, they give the force temporary peace. Means they live with this, hoping for better times. They accept it. Whenever they face something which they cannot penetrate. It's in the Islamic ideology, it's called Hudaybiyah peace. Means a temporary peace which you give to the infidel only because he's too strong to be defeated. However, if he gets weak, the Muslim will do
You'll
it.
be attacked. Yeah.
Now what I say, if the opponents, Israel, Europe, will be strong, will know the situation, will negate their taking over, will tell them either you become normal citizens or leave, and will bring Chinese instead of you. If they are confronting with the iron fist, they surrender temporarily. But if the iron fist will be forever, they will be defeated forever. This is why we in Israel and we in Europe as well, we should not fall asleep on God. We should understand the intentions. We should understand what they mean, and do not succumb to the intentions of those migrants to turn those countries into Islamic home. And you know what? They remember, Sicily was under their control.
Yeah.
The Iberian Peninsula also,
Andalusia.
in Spain and Portugal. Balkans, all the way to the north, to the gates of Vienna, were under the hoofs of the horses. They are still dreaming to go back to these places because they belong to them. Europe should tell them, if you are here, you become Europeans. Otherwise, go back to your countries. This is the message which should be. Otherwise, Europe is gone.
You are perfectly right. Thank you so much for this interview, and a big hug from all my audience from Italy. Thank you again.
Pleasure.